Principles. This is Practical Prince. We're doing Talk and Tarot. As usual, just go ahead and drop your questions into the chat, into the comments. We'll do as many as we can with the time we've got. And while y'all are hopping on and hopping in, I'll go ahead and shuffle decks. Because what better way to kill time than to analyze? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Making it through the week. And again, if you've got feedback on, doing readings for online requests, like a forum post asking for a reading, let me know. I think it could be good content, but I want to make sure we're giving you guys, our live viewers and attendees, the chance to speak up for your time. That's where it would probably come from. Because with the job and whatnot, don't know that I can really add sessions. So we would have to take away from somewhere else. But Wednesdays have usually been slow. Sometimes we've got a busy one. Sometimes we'll get a few people. Sometimes, maybe I'm just more impatient, but sometimes there's been no one and we just end early. So let me know your thoughts. We would still keep the Friday one. So no loss there. And that does seem to be the popular one, even though it has less time. Just because I have to do things in the morning. Less so after the day's work is done. So, yeah. Set these aside. Don't know if you can see, but I was in a bit of a rush. Got off a little late from work, so things aren't necessarily as neat as I'd like them, but we've got good sound, and we should have good video on this, so I don't know if that'll help you see the cards any better. If we get a reading, we can check it out. It's a little rough because, I can see the cards right here. I know what it looks like. But for someone on the other end who might not be familiar with the cards, I'm not sure if it's as easy to see what they are. Hey, Radha. How's it going? Doing well. Yeah, it has been a long time. I'm curious how things are with whatever his name is. He was a thing last year. I don't know if we were over him, but... Well, thanks. I want to say this is the first time I've seen you this year, technically. Right? Okay. Well, good. What? Yeah. I do think direct communication is the most effective, but yeah, sometimes people need some help. So that's good. Okay, well, that's all our decks. Okay, looking forward to it. For anybody else joining, go ahead and ask your question if you'd like a reading, or we can just chat like we're doing now. Maybe I'll monologue for a bit. Can't say I'm any better at that than I was before, so. Any particular field or position? And that's fine that you don't want to ask anything. It's okay. I mean, I'm not personally in or near that field. I know someone was telling me their story, but that's like half a decade old at this point. So, and who knows? You've probably got a different, what would we call that? Environment, lay of the land up in Canada. So, yeah, best of luck. And it might be that you're just more on top of it than the companies who will need the help. Oh, do we have some notorious big companies for accounting? This felt so familiar. I'm gonna check. PwC sounds, I recognize KPMG. So That's one I definitely recognize. Maybe I applied for a job at PwC. So, and then Deloitte, I've heard the name. I don't know if I've heard much else. So getting ready. And that's good. Would you move for it? Or are you hoping for a local internship? Okay. Computer science, programming, coding. So pretty flexible. I don't worry too much. So yeah. I like to think so. At the very least, it's good for me. Yeah. Do you think you would move when you after you graduate and get a job, or? And I guess how far if you do? Like, would you move countries, or do you think you would stay national slash local? Right. Oh, but even after you graduate? Okay. Because I feel like you were a bit of a traveler. when you first started coming to streams. So I don't know if that was part of your career ambition to get up and get around and get somewhere physically. um, well, just when you first came to streams, you were traveling. We're going a trip through Canada. Um, I was just wondering if you have a traveler bug, and if you wanted to either travel as part of your career or end up somewhere else as far as like your job after college, after university. Okay. Probably kind of are, because I know you were doing social media, so it might just happen naturally. That works very well for social media these days. Hey Daniel, how's it going? Technically, I am. It's been a while since I've posted there, but yeah, I, I think that one's Practical Prints. It might be Practical Dot Prints. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. feelings, or not yes feelings. That's going to be descending. I guess let me check it real quick. Let's see. Yeah. Practical doctrines. Okay, and let's go ahead and show our workspace. Nice. So, okay. Thanks. Maybe I'll start posting them. It was easier when I didn't have a job. But we'll see. I should probably do more than nothing. So. I don't know that many reading anymore. So let me check. It doesn't feel like all there is to it, but it feels like the important part, or what they want you to focus on. So, I mean, sort of grain of salt, I guess, but at the same time, this is where we're wanting you to put your attention. So, the Fool, beginning, risk, or at least those are the words on the card. I don't know if you guys can see it that well, but this indicates someone open to a start, open to something new. So as far as feelings towards you, gosh, there could be two things there. Because it could be the feelings themselves that are new. Yeah, and we've definitely got some of that. It's not overwhelming here, but then there's also new as far as the relationship, and feelings towards that. And what the sense working on that? they're not really sure. It's basically how that goes. Hey, Tina. So, Daniel, I mean, the feelings towards you, good. Um, it's not like overwhelmingly positive or anything crazy, but certainly not negative. But then, as far as how they feel about a relationship, they really haven't settled on like what they want, um, what they're looking for, if they're looking for anything. Um, so there's a lot of ambiguity on that aspect of things. So as far as like, I mean, if you're thinking about a relationship with them, I don't know that they're ready to take it anywhere or to do anything about it. Um, yeah, I mean, that's kind of up to you. If you want to try, not necessarily pushing, um, probably just nudging would be enough to get a feel from them on it. Um, but yeah, I don't know that they're necessarily ready for something. And so, based off of your needs and what you're wanting, um, yeah, as far as like any sort of relationship, um, yeah, I definitely wouldn't rush given the um, just sort of undecided nature of the situation. Um, it wouldn't be bad for you to prompt things, but don't necessarily expect that to propel things along. So, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, part of like how to follow up on that's kind of up to you and what you're looking for. So, yeah, if you want to pursue her, yeah. Interesting. No problem, Daniel. I did not know that. Nada. Thank you. Kind of makes me curious because it feels like those names get bigger the more you break them down, I guess. But anyways, so that's something I can use with my own. Tina, if you had a question, better shuffle that. If you had a question, go ahead and ask. Same for everybody else, if you were waiting. Or we can just chat. And that is totally fine. So I've definitely, well, sorry. Switching back to Rada. I think we've had a few Kami Priyas strap on. So. Oh, on Instagram. Okay, gotcha. That's something I'll be checking after this when I get to look at my phone. Will do. Guess I should switch this back so people know. Good night. Oh, I don't need to keep shuffling this. Set that somewhere there. It's not going to fall. Hey, come up here. How's it going? Doing well. Been a good day. Productive. So, yeah. Yourself? You can go ahead and ask your question, Charlie. I'll just track it when we're ready. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess I just don't know if the timeline is going to be just one for everything or broken down in some way. That's a question for the code, so let's find it. I don't know yet. Okay. Looks like we're using Lost Forest. Shuffle over. Yeah, there's something wrong with that question. I can't quite pinpoint what. It doesn't feel like it's just a time frame, a time issue. Like, I don't think it's an issue of focusing on this year. Because we've definitely gotten answers where it's like, oh, it's outside of this range. But it'll be somewhere in the future. But it's something in the way the question is framed, worded. So um, I don't know if you've got another way you can ask that, or if there's a different angle that you're interested in. Um, but for some reason, but there's something wrong with that one as it is, and I'm not quite able to figure out what the fix would be or how to correct it. We'll see if we can get something more specific. Yeah, just that'll get us to what we need. Okay. Okay, the focus is here. It's skewed, so it's offset from the normal meaning. So I'll have to test that out. This one is detail, minor clarification. So this is going to be our big one. 5 of fire. Normally 5 of, wands. And then 3 of oceans is our clarity. Um, I'm not getting so much a sense of when as what. It seems like there's basically friction between members of your family. Yeah, let me make sure. Yeah. You could say there's some external uh, people who could be causing friction, but as far as what this is saying needs to happen, the trigger for getting rid of the negative energy, um, the friction between your own family members, your immediate family, needs to be worked through. So that's the main thing going on here. And it's not saying it'll be pretty or easy. That's kind of one of the rough parts of the Five of Fire, or Five of Wands. Sometimes it's not too bad, but um, yeah, you'll just have to know for your own personal situation. But that stuff needs to be worked through. And basically, you guys need to align on what's important. This Three of Oceans, the detail we're getting from this is really just to focus towards unity, um, harmony, and getting along. Because, like, sometimes with Five of Fire, sometimes the solution is separate ways, or we part, because it's not going to work. This is saying that's not an outcome you should be striving for at all. It really is harmony with each other that we want. So, and this was a minor detail, so you probably hadn't considered that really, but this just reinforces that. Um, Now to follow up on this one, will I find someone powerful or knowledgeable to help you? Let's find out. Sorry, I just feel like these cards are. I think that's everything from that. Well, it's first. So it's not just it's not laying out in a normal way. So I'll explain it once I figure it out. or I guess I'll explain what I know so far. So I was expecting a 3-card yes no, and then perhaps some of the cards having meaning in and of themselves. It doesn't feel like that's the case here. This one stands alone. Um, they're all trying to answer your question, of course, but as far as what this is speaking to, it's standing on its own. These, like before, this one is the heavy one, and this is light detail. Um, I'm trying now to get a sense of what specifically they're speaking to. Like, is this speaking to the yes no, and are these describing the person, the entity? Um, I don't know. So trying to nail that down before I flip cards. Okay, it's more like the person exists. I'm not sure if the person is someone other than yourself. Um, I think this is going to help clarify that part. And then this is speaking to how. Yes, maybe. Let me finish up with coming from the world. So, completeness, wholeness, 9 of fire, of wands, and the moon. Okay. I want to say that this isn't who you are now, but it is you. Let me reference the guide. It's probably future you. You're just not ready yet. Completion, wholeness, integration. Moon ruler of oceans, and the earth joins the sun, ruler of fire and heavens. The traveler's journey is complete. Yeah, this is almost certainly future you. So then, as far as the how, 9 of fire and the moon. The moon's the wider detail here. Let me double check 9 of fire. I know the 10 fairly well, but 9. Resilience, persistence, courage. Surviving a volcanic eruption is no excuse to let one's guard down against greater foes. And then the moon usually deals with deception or uncertainty. Deception's kind of strong. Uncertainty or illusion. Things not being what they appear to be. So, I mean, 9 of fire. Probably what's going to happen is the 5 of fire, the argument, the debates that need to happen with your family. You're probably going to have multiple conversations about that, talking it through, working it out. The 9 of fire is saying that you'll keep pushing and going through it. Those are probably going to be exhausting or difficult, hard conversations, but they need to happen, all of them. So that's what that's getting at. Let me see if I can get a better sense. The moon is speaking to calling things for what they are, facing the reality. I don't know if that would be uh, okay. Um, yeah, the focus of the moon is that some of the arguments, the comments that come up in those debates that need to happen, um, they're false. They're not well grounded, not true. And this says you'll call them out, basically. Um, that's no good and has no place in the conversation because it's just false. Well, the person is yourself, not as you are. This was definitely speaking to future you. I don't know how much farther in the future. It didn't seem too far, but it seems like yourself as far as resolving it. And then as far as how, having those conversations, and yeah, they're going to be tough, and you've been in a tough situation, but these will be tough in a different way in having to verbalize things. Um, yes. Um, yes, basically. I mean, it is collaborative in the fact that you're working through this with your husband. I don't know how much your kid is involved, but working through with them potentially. But yeah, and again, you're not quite ready, um, but it is pretty near future, is the sense I got from the world. And yeah, I mean, those conversations are going to be tough. So you already know it's tough. Yeah, I don't know that I can help with specifics in that regard. I mean, this speaks to it being difficult. Um, well, this would be you and your husband, um, talking about the problems, talking about what's not right and how to change it. Um, yeah, given the previous reading, we're not interested in separation. It's not an option we're really considering. But yeah, so I mean, you already know the conversations are going to be difficult. It's also going to be difficult just because putting emotions, experiences, um, um, will be difficult. As far as the outcome, I don't think we really got anything on that. If you want, I can try to read on that. I don't know on that either. I guess first, do we have any more questions on this reading? Uh, and if not, um, I do want to give Avi her reading. Um, so I guess just depending on how closely it's tied, we can either do that right after or um, do AV so she's good and then continue on with yours. Um, I mean, it's not to say that you couldn't have help, but you are definitely the primary person as in getting this resolved. Does that make sense? You're not necessarily alone, but you have to do it. No one else can. Thanks, Avi. The only question I had for you was this specific to any particular person, or is this just love life in general? Given how you worded it, I'm assuming it's just love life in general. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I am, I get a sense for it, but that's what I'll focus on for now. Okay. Okay. I'll figure out placement afterwards. These are going to answer your question, but just so you know, I get the sense that you might want to spend some time looking at your own personal spiritual development, however you view or look at that. But yeah, just so you know, let me figure out these things. Yeah, I'm not really getting anything more than this is first and then this is second. I don't really know how soon they are or how close they'll come together. I might get more once I flip, but just as far as before flipping. Temperance and Nine of Wands. Okay. I mean, if something is happening, it's going to happen here in Temperance. I don't feel like anything will actually pan out because Temperance is all about moderation, getting into balance. Um, Not too much, not too little. So it seems like you'll be going through a centering period, and then really this Nine of Wands is basically uh, just a push through it, just a time period where stuff isn't happening. It's not like you'll have trials or temptations per se. It's really just waiting for stuff to happen. So not too exciting, but that's what we've got for that. Any questions, Avi? Okay. I mean, we can try. I mean, sometimes I do get the impression you already have the answer, um, or sometimes it's you don't need to know, but um, I can try. That's not an issue. That would be good enough. And I saw both your questions, so I think we've got a mix of answers. But mm, yes. Okay. Um, these speak to feelings. I guess I'll double check if there's one more there. These speak to the what he thinks you're doing wrong, sort of. I don't think he's explicitly thinking this stuff, but um, this would be the underlying reasons. This feels like something you're doing that isn't necessarily bad, but isn't working for him. This is something that's not happening. And I think we get an explanation. I'm not necessarily sure if it's, um, well, yeah, we'll get into that. I'm not quite sure if this is speaking more so to his reason for that, for having that expectation, or for why you might want to adopt that. I need to speak to both. Yeah, and these just seem to be speaking to slightly different aspects. Well, I guess not slightly different aspects, but different aspects of the feelings towards you. Page of Swords, Page of Cups. Okay. Let me check Page of Swords real quick. I mean, Page of Cups would normally be positive for being open to a relationship, to opening your heart. Um, I want to get this Page of Swords out of the way first. Represents a new mindset being created, a sort of awakening where you are able to look at life with a curious and open mind. This openness allows you to be creative, innovative, and open to new possibilities. It is an important time to start communicating more in your relationships. This is a time to observe carefully, pay attention to what others are saying, and take action when the opportunity presents itself. It will continue on, but we've already read the relevant parts. Yes. What would be the right way to say that? There's some feelings. Oh, um, we'll make me good for a moment. He has some feelings, but he hasn't really formed them, shaped them, made a decision about what to do with them. That's what the Page of Swords is getting at. Page of Cups, again, open to having these feelings, doing something with them. But it's, I mean, we haven't decided where this is going, what we're doing with them, whether it's towards you, towards someone else, whether we really even want these, because it might be answer to throw it away. So, yeah, and that's all in his court. Yeah, that you're not going to be able to help mold this or help shape it, really. That's something he really needs to work on and work through. And really messing with that would just slow down his process, slow down him getting through it. Thoughts. Two of Wands, Transmute, and the World. And that one's reversed. Two of Wands. So you're wanting to move forward, to progress. So yeah, normally this is a good thing. Moving forward with a relationship. He's either, well, and I guess we've already been over it. He isn't ready, really, to engage in anything serious or to progress, really. So, yeah, as far as what to do with his feelings. So, and I sort of described them as amorphous. Obviously, they're in the realm of emotions and romantic feelings. But as far as directing them, what to do with them, whether to even have them, yeah, that's all in his court. He has to decide. Yeah. So, um, so yeah, Two of Wands. That's normally good for a relationship, making progress, um, committing and developing it. He's just not ready. So it makes sense that that's a good thing about you, but isn't really working for him right now, given his current situation. Transmute. Um, Give me a sec, because this one's unique to this deck. And sorry, I don't have the guide on hand, so I'm going to have to sense out what the meaning was. Um, I don't want to speak ill of him, but what I'm getting from this combination is sort of like a fling, essentially. Like he would be open to and ready for um, a sexual experience to have that, uh, to learn what that's like and come out the other end. Obviously, that's not good for a long-term relationship, and so and that's not something you want. At least given where this is, um, you're wanting something stable, solid, and long-lasting, and that's not something he's. Well, we already know he's not ready for that. Um, that's something that would be helpful for him, especially as far as developing this. But that's not something you have to offer. So yeah, and let me see if I can zero in on that a bit. Definitely more physical, maybe not sexual. Um, but yeah, definitely fling sort of stuff. So okay. Any questions, AV? Um, Possibly he might just want something more physical. Um, but yeah. And that's not to say that he necessarily wants it from you specifically. That might be something he just wants generally, which would which would help him form what he wants. So again, not necessarily sex. Um, it could just be more physical, but that would be like the far end of it. Um, and I don't know. It's not the. This isn't necessarily aimed at you personally, because gosh, how to phrase that? Like this isn't a deal breaker for having any sort of relationship with you or anyone else, really. This is just sort of the next thing on his list. So, like, I could see him getting into something, learning from it, and then coming back and be ready for something stable. That would be pretty quick, but um, this isn't to say that he would never be open to a relationship with you. It's just not um, as far as what he's presently looking for, thinking about. That's something that doesn't quite fit. Did that clarify? Um, I think I still might have jumbled it a bit. Okay. Okay. Let me get that. Well, and that's probably how we get wanting something physical. But yeah, that's not necessarily territory he can explore with you, given your standards and what you want. So, yeah. Okay. And we'll go ahead and open to the floor if people want to ask questions. We've had a pretty good session, so if things have died down, that's okay. And AV, it's okay to ask more questions if you'd like. Or we can just chat, and that's true for everyone. I probably won't monologue at this point, but we'll give some time, some space before signing off. Let me get the cook position. Let's find out. Okay. Yes, no, so it'll probably come out in our 3-card spread, but you know, if it mixes it up, I'll let you know. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, my bad. Turn on camera. Okay. I think we have cards. So, double check. Okay. We've got names with our yes, no, but it's interesting. These feel like a pair speaking to something, although this one stands out more strongly, so on its own. But King of Chalices, 4 of Wands, and Strength. Let me double check the. That should be fine. I think I'm thinking of Swords, but even that would just be neutral. Yeah. Yeah. So all of these would be yeses. As far as, I guess we'll start with the big one, King of Chalices. That's controlling emotions and directing them towards good. And I don't know that this is an action item, more so something working already to your advantage. Four of Wands, then Strength. Um, Let me check Four of Wands. Four of Swords, and that one's a rest, a break. So Six of Wands would also be somewhat restful. This one. Celebration, peace, family. This card is the first milestone in the journey of the Wands. Everything is coming together nicely, and while things are supporting themselves, take this time to enjoy the success of what you have wrought so far. This is a time of great peace and contentment. It may include family or a landmark in your life celebrated by ceremony. At the very core, it is happiness, one of those rare times when life is going your way, and you're aware enough to appreciate it. As far as more direct or more concretely how that ties, and that was paired with strength, which, I mean, apart from its namesake, has persistence as a strong element. Is that anything more than okay? Yeah, that's really a focus. When the promotion does happen, remember that that's not a end goal or stopping place or anything like that. A time to take it easy by any means. Like it said, this is a landmark on your journey, and you'll need to continue pushing forward. That's not to say you need a rush or anything. It's not to say you can't celebrate. But it's no time to slack either. So, but as far as overall, will you get it? The answer is yes. Yeah. Now, follow up and tell me how it pans out. There's only so many where it's very concrete and you can check me if it panned out that way or not. So let me know. It would be nice to get some validation now and then. Thanks. Okay, I think we'll call that good for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we've got the Friday session. We might mix it up next Wednesday. We'll see. We did have some fun today. But yeah, we'll get there. Have a great week. Take care.